Hello, this is Adam with DreamMade Productions. This video is made possible by the very kind donations of viewers like you. Thank you. If you are in a position to help this channel improve quality and grow, please visit my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/DreamMadeProductions, linked below.
It is the 31st century, and mankind is once again at war. The battlefields of the future are dominated by huge robotic war machines known as battle mechs.
Hello, and welcome back to The Arsenal, a series where we look at the weapons, equipment, and technology of the BattleTech universe. Today, we look at other options on a system I use to measure all other weapons against. Way back in our very first episode, I covered the medium laser, my measuring stick, and I hold to that. But now we cover the others of that kind, the small and large laser. So this is the point that I normally go off on some tangent about weapons from the Stone Age. I can't really do that this time. The history of directed energy weapons really doesn't go back that far. Unless you count the Syracuse Death Ray or Archimedes' Mirror. Either way, it was a mirror or system of mirrors that were used to focus the light of the Terran star into a ray. It is the same concept survivalists sometimes use to start a fire. Focus the sun's rays to generate heat and start ignition of an easily combustible substance like dry leaves or paper. This thing just took it to a whole new scale, burning Roman warships instead of small piles of kindling. Truthfully, if the thing existed or not is kind of up in the air. There were historians in 200 AD that documented it, but those historians lived 400 years after its supposed use in about 212 BC. It looks like the secession wars were not the only time humanity forgot to write stuff down. Over the many centuries, people with entirely too much time on their hands have tried to recreate this wonder weapon to, let's be kind and go with mixed results. For people like me, the question of can it work is somewhat less important to is it useful as a weapon. Using solar power to build your murder machine may be renewable friendly, but is just not feasible since all your enemy has to do is wait for nightfall, or bad weather, or rain, or a freaking cloud. In any case, using light as a weapon would have to wait until the 20th century, and the light amplified by stimulated emission of radiation, or laser. I'm not going to go into how this stuff works. As should be painfully obvious by now, I'm no scientist, just a mech jock who took the occasional history correspondence class. But very long story short, a laser focuses light into a single point, keeping the light all together instead of spreading out in all directions like firelight or a light bulb. Early in its weaponization, lasers were not used to attack directly. Instead, lasers were used to designate a target. Be that a small laser sight showing where rounds would land, or to lead a guided missile to its target. The process was simple. Just hold the laser onto what you want to make die, fire a missile that looks for the laser and homes in on it, and wait for the before-mentioned die part to happen. It was a major leap from unguided rockets or missiles that required literal wires to control it. On the other end, if the person painting the target with the laser could not keep the laser on target, well, missing was still more than possible. If only the laser itself could do the damage. It would take time before scientists and engineers could create a beam of sufficient power to be physically destructive on its own. The Western Alliance would be the first to turn lasers into a standalone weapon. At first, laser systems were large pieces of equipment that could only be mounted to facilities or very large craft, such as seagoing ships. Or, more notably, Krippen Space Station in 2014. From there, smaller versions were developed until vehicle and even man-portable laser systems were available. As humanity took to the stars, we took our lasers with us. The Terran Alliance and the Terran Hegemony continued to develop the technology, eventually settling on the 3 general and somewhat standardized laser classes we have today. In 2290, the first prototypes of the medium and small laser would begin to appear, with full production beginning in late 2300. The large laser's gamma ray-based technology made it more complex, delaying its introduction to 2306, going into full production in 2310. I shared my thoughts on the medium laser earlier, but to summarize, I think it is the best weapon today. While not the most powerful, or longest range, or even most efficient, it does offer a level of flexibility that I consider unmatched. It can be mounted to almost anything and can do any job somewhat well. It's my personal standard that all other weapon systems are measured against. The small laser, its smaller sibling, and is the simplest of all the laser systems. The small laser clocks in at half a Starleague ton, but is only slightly smaller than the medium laser, taking up a critical space. The small laser is very heat efficient, pulling a relatively small amount of power from the fusion drive, generating only 1 heat. The beam on the small laser is surprisingly powerful. A hit will deal 3 damage to your target, more than that of the light autocannon, machine gun, or single SRM, and more than half as much as the medium laser for less than half the heat buildup. Where the small laser lacks is its range. One way the small laser achieves its low power requirement is by ditching its containment or focusing field. This means the laser's energy is dissipated much faster. The small laser is only really effective at point-blank range, dropping off very quickly after that, and beyond range 3 is pretty much just a light show. With its lightweight and high damage, this thing can be mounted to any vehicle. Well, as long as it can provide the power needed for it. That is the biggest drawback of lasers. An ICE engine alone is just not good enough. You need power, nuclear power, or power amplifiers. Either way, those can get expensive if you are on a shoestring budget. It also adds to complexity. Something like an SRM or machine gun, you just need to point in the direction and fire. The laser needs cabling, capacitors, and other electronics that aren't as forgiving, being dragged through mud, sand, or banged on by grease monkeys pulled straight from aggro duty. Where the small laser is fairly simple as direct energy weapons go, the large laser is far more complex. Ditching the simplicity of the free electron operation of the small and medium laser for a much more powerful but much more complex gamma-based ray. The large laser, thanks to the added equipment, is twice the size of its lighter cousin. Additional shielding and containment requirements adds a lot of weight, tipping the scales up to 5 tons. The gamma rays combined with the increased focusing field really adds to the power requirements. Firing a large laser pulls enough power to generate 8 waste heat from the reactor. The increase in size, weight, and power requirements does get you a very noticeable return. The beam is almost twice as powerful as a medium laser, dealing 8 damage to its target. The increased containment also pays dividends. A large laser can really reach out in comparison. It is deadly out to a range of 5, falling off only a bit out to range 10, while on paper it becomes combat ineffective past 15. Well, getting caught in those gamma rays even, well after can't be healthy for you. These laser systems would serve as the standard for hundreds of years, but experimentation would continue. Attempts were made to boost the laser's damage, range, heat efficiency, and the eggheads in the Star League would hit breakthroughs in 2609 with BattleTech and in 2620 with the extended range module. But we will be looking at those little nuggets soon enough. By the time of the Exodus, the standard laser systems were already starting to fall out of favor. The clans would more or less drop the technology altogether with their invention of the improved versions of both the ER and BattleTech. Hard to argue with the improvements, especially the clan versions. The small and large laser are excellent complements to many weapon systems. The small has the potential to all but replace the ancient machine gun, but its power requirements and single-shot nature just hold it back. The large laser is a great weapon for anything big enough to hold the thing. In my experience, it works especially well when paired with the AC-10, sharing its range brackets and serving as a kind of backup in case AC ammo runs dry. The laser systems have served mech warrior, combat vehicle crew, and in the case of the small laser's cousin, the support laser, even infantry well for hundreds of years. What are your thoughts on the small and large laser? Does anyone have any good stories? If there is a weapon or piece of equipment you would like me to take a look at, let me know below. And as always, I hope you enjoy the battle reps that are to come. Hello, this is Adam with Dream Made Productions. Thank you for watching my content. It really means a lot that you have given me the chance to entertain you. If you would like to support the channel, please visit my Patreon at patreon.com/DreamMadeProductions, linked below. Also below is a link for PayPal, or links if you would like to send crypto, if that's more your thing. Please know any amount that you give will be cherished and used to upgrade equipment and improve the channel. You can also help the channel by subscribing, turning on notifications, liking, commenting, and sharing my channel with anyone you think might be interested. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you enjoy the battle reps that are to come.